Good morning, Nigeria. The sun is up and so are we. Welcome to Ways Breakfast, your daily kickstart for the conversations that truly matter. We are here to reflect on the conversations that echo through our communities, serving them with fresh insight and honest talk. In recent weeks, Dangote trucks have become an all too common part of our news cycle, but sadly, not for business success. Instead, accidents involving these heavy-duty trucks have claimed lives, injured others, and sparked protests. In Edo State, angry residents blocked Dangote trucks after multiple crashes. Victim stories like that of Ruth Otabo, a young graduate who lost a leg, have put a human face to the tragedy. Public outrage is growing with calls for government action, stricter oversight, and greater accountability from the Dangote Group itself. Today, we are confronted with a question that weighs heavily on the nation's conscience. What will it take to stop the tragic loss of life caused by truck accidents? Why these accidents keep happening? Who should be held responsible? And what solutions can finally bring safer roads for Nigerians? I'm Goodness Ide, and joining me to serve up this conversation are the dynamic Oluchi Omenka, the thoughtful Triumph Akiboye, of course our special guest Oluwadara Akigbongbe, and of course you, yes you, our insightful audience. Together we'll seek answers and put the spotlight on the urgent need for change. Let's get started. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Goodness.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Good morning,
I'm
Triumph.
fine. So how was your way coming down, yeah?
It was good. I mean, I was telling Triumph a few minutes ago before we came on air that sometimes commuting every morning is a lot of work. You will not get tired of this song because it's really real. But I was telling her that I love this job so much because when I come on air, the lights are on my face, we're mic'd, we're ready for the conversation and I come alive. But reading this introduction, this one that you just read now, I think that's alive half dead. Pardon my grammar. Because it makes me feel quite sober because I can remember this Ruth story.
Yeah.
I read it, I think, last weekend or so, and I felt a lot of pain because, the celebrity sister,
Fina,
yes, who came out to give very dark man a number of stories as regarding it. I even saw gory images as well, and it makes one to be sober.
Even amputated.
Yes, it's a tragic incident. So, yeah, I came here feeling alive, but this topic makes me quite sober. And let's see how it goes.
All right, what about Triumph?
I'm doing very well this morning. Like she said, commuting here every morning is a real task. I get to have to pray that I hope everything is smooth every morning. I'm wondering that I'm supposed to be praying about other things. Why am I praying about the fact that whenever I'm coming here, it should just be smooth? So I'm doing really,
It's
really
a great
fine.
prayer. It's something you shouldn't take for granted.
That you shouldn't take for granted, honestly.
Everything.
That's good. But for me, it was, well, I say a little bit challenging because when I got to Yanowar, I think they started the repairing of the bridge because I saw they parted some parts. So there was a little bit of traffic, though it was still moving. So that was what I faced while coming here this morning. But it's all fine and
welcome.
Good. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go on a break right now. And when we return, we'll take you through the leading stories across the globe. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. As we start the day, I would love you to take a moment looking at the significant event that shaped our world. What are your thoughts on these historical milestones? I would love to hear your insights and perspective. Remember, you are the main ingredient in this conversation, and we would love to hear your thought on this. Our phone lines are open. Please call us on 0702-500-7749. Or you call us on 07014-242-420. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now. Like and share the link. Tune into our channel 145 on your Go TV and don't miss this. And now moving to across the headlines on our newspaper, we are excited to dive back into the latest news and current events. Let's take a look at what's making headlines today. We'll be scanning the pages of top newspaper, including The Punch, The Guardian, and to bring you the biggest stories of the day from local development to global news. We've got you covered. Now let's see what the ladies have in store with their newspapers. Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
global development, but trust me, nothing is developing yet. Let's see the Guardian newspaper. The major headline says floods, lack of potable water, worsen cholera epidemic in 34 states. ASU braces for strike as protests rock branches. Suko for 172 million subscribers as Tinubu cancels planned 5% telecom tax. 60% of public school teachers lack basic digital skills, says UBEC. Our church invaders had links with foreign terrorist groups, DSS tells court. Nigeria's minimum wage insufficient to lift citizens out of poverty. Mixed reaction trail implementation of dialysis subsidy after removal. NPA spots $2 billion funding gap as investor apathy stalls deep seaports drive. Above that, we see NBA monarchs urge Tinubu to intervene and withheld Osun local government funds. NCAA revises phone regulations on domestic flights. And the last story reads, PDP convention, Wike's camp meets today to take position. A number of these stories really are exciting. And, let me start with the good news because we're still going to talk about some tragic news later. But yesterday, I came across the implementation of dialysis subsidy from the federal government, and I was so happy to read that news. And I think it's going to be implemented soon across different federal-owned hospitals across the country. And I think it's something that is needed because of diet, because of environmental changes. We've seen a rise in kidney issues. Yeah. And I think that is one major disease that is quite expensive to deal with. I know of people personally that, I know of someone that died actually, and because they didn't have enough funds to continue with the treatment, it's quite sad. So seeing that, there have been subsidy about this particular, I've forgotten the details. I wish I was able to, screenshot it or keep it so that I can review it with you guys. But it's a commendable one.
There was a percentage discount for
yes,
them.
Across different federal-owned hospitals. And another one that even struck me, which I didn't even know, I don't know why we don't even elaborate news like this, and that was about cesarean sections as well. I think I heard that there was also subsidy for women. But of course, all these are implemented more in public-owned hospitals.
Well, even if they are implemented or subsidized, at the same time, we need good equipment in the hospitals,
but this is actually, it's going to be a huge relief for a number of people. Imagine having to pay daily for something,
how much that dialysis
50,000, 120,000.
And some of them have to go every day.
It's a lot. So this is a commendable one, and let's see it get better. Also, around the health sector, I think I read somewhere, one blog that said that malaria now has another
I saw
another
phase
to it. That's already giving a lot of scare. And he said this particular one doesn't even have a cure. It's caused by a particular female mosquito. I'm like, why? Please, mosquito bites me a lot. I do not want to see more things that are scary. But this is a call for us to be much more, health conscious and ensure that we're keeping safe, because at the end of the day, your health is in your hands. And of course, many other stories here, but I would stop on this.
All right, so I'm trying. Can you lead us with yours?
All right, so let us check the pages of the Punch newspaper. The headline, capital projects crumble as state cuts spending. Right out to that story, governors cite insecurity, red tape for 2.7 trillion naira capital spending in 6 months, and rising travel wage bills. Yoruba elders weighed in as Alaafin Oni feud escalate. 2027 showdown. Wike fires shot at Amechi Babachia trashes ADC. Court blocks ex-NNPCL boss account amid EFCC probe. 36 governors unite to woo foreign investors via new platform. Ex-NNPCL spokesman canvasses tax relief for media houses. Our church attackers have ties to Al-Shabaab. So these are some of the stories making headlines. And then, the one that I want to talk about as regards court blocking ex-NNPCL boss account amid EFCC probe. It was in the news that the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the temporary freezing of 4 bank accounts linked to the immediate past group chief executive officer, that's Millie Kyari, over allegations of fraud. We really don't know how long we are going to keep talking about fraud with our leaders and all of that. And this keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And now they've decided to freeze his 4 bank accounts. How many bank accounts do you have?
Funny how that might not even be all his bank accounts.
That
There
might
could be
not.
some offshore account that you're not aware of and all of that.
Because, according to the anti-graft agency, they said, findings revealed that the account domiciled, they mentioned the name of the bank, were used to warehouse over 661 million naira, suspected to be proceeds of unlawful activities. I mean, this is, the way they mentioned this money, you would think is 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, 661 million is a whole lot. So I really think they are going to get down to this investigation and not get carried away in the process, all right? So I think that's it for me.
All right, so taking you through the Tribune newspaper, above the masthead, we have Owo Church attack, court grants DSS request to hide identity of witnesses. And beside that, we have alleged NNPCL fraud, court freezes 4 bank accounts linked to Mele Kyari. I think that was the story you read from that newspaper. And just below the masthead, we have the leading story that says NBA demands immediate release of Osun local government funds, writes AGF. And it has a key card that says threatens legal actions against the federal government. And also a story, continuation of that story, Osun Traditional Council seeks Tinubu's intervention. And below the page, I also like to take a story related to the health. Oluchi has talked about mosquito that resulted in a new finding. And below the page, we have a news that says toothpaste made from hair could repair teeth and stop tooth decay.
I don't understand. Read it again.
That is hilarious.
Toothpaste made from hair could repair teeth and stop tooth decay.
Interesting.
Where are you selling it?
Okay, you want to get
Where
that?
I
can
want
we
to sue
get
them.
it?
That's what I want to do.
Oh my god, that story was actually captivating. I was like, wow, that's a new one too. Now we should also applaud them for this kind of
Applaud what? I am not applauding anything. I have not seen proper findings on.
Toothache, is it not a good thing?
Toothache.
Yes. We usually have a lot of situations where even some people, they still
Why
go
does
to
it
the
have to
hospital
be
because of
air
that.
that, using it from air that would be the only remedy to stop toothache?
Well, there are actually other remedies, but this is like a new findings for us.
So they should
you
keep
get
finding.
that.
I hope they get to the end of it.
Okay, and beside that, we have CSO seek independent body to select INEC chairman. All right, so that's all we can take on the news paper this morning. We go on a short break right now, and when we return, our guest joins us on today's topic, which has now been a major concern in the society. To stay with us. Welcome back, our dearest viewers. And today's topic says that Dangote truck casualties, urgent need for government intervention and regulation. Today we're talking about a very serious and pressing issue. Every day we see headlines about tragic accidents involving heavy-duty trucks, particularly those belonging to Dangote. These aren't just statistics, they are lives lost, families shattered, and communities grieving. The big question is, what can be done to stop this heartbreaking incident? Is this an issue of driver negligence, or is it a symptom of a much larger problem that requires urgent government intervention and regulation? The data is alarming. According to one of the 2024 data released by the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Dangote trucks led all fleet operators in road traffic casualties in the first quarter of 2024, with 65 casualties. This is out of total of 472 casualties involving all fleet operators. This issue extends beyond a single company, as heavy-duty vehicles in general are a significant factor in road crashes. The National Bureau of Statistics reported that in the first quarter of 2024, there were a total of 2,662 road traffic accidents in Nigeria. Joining us to this discussion will be Oluwadara Akingbongbe, a leadership and government consultant. He has contributed his idea and vision for a better Nigeria by providing solutions to international, national, and local issues in leading newspapers. We will evaluate this topic, sharing implication, remedies, or solutions to this pressing matter in the society. And very welcome, Oluwadara Akingbongbe. I hope you can hear me, and so glad to have you on this program. And aside that, I also have my beautiful co-hosts who will also be contributing, their opinions to what they say. And you also, our audience, you can also share your thought on the comment section. And let's begin by understanding the scope of the problem. To my co-host, from your perspective, why are accidents involving Dangote trucks becoming so frequent? Is it that the poor driver training, weak regulation, or something bigger? Let's start with Oluchi.
Don't start with me. Well, like I said, it's a very tragic discussion, and it's not these figures that you have even mentioned, 2,000 plus accidents in a year, is very, very alarming. Shows that a number of people lose their lives just commuting on the road. I mean, I'm not just losing my life because I stayed at home. I'm going from one place to another, and then there's no guarantee of coming back. I remember when I traveled down to the east, sorry that I'm diverting a little. I traveled down to the east this, last December, because as an Igbo girl, we always go home. I had a wedding to attend, and coming back, when we were across, not across, just that lane, that Bini Road. So there's this very tiny lane that we had to pass, and our bus was the normal portable kind of bus, was not a luxurious bus, and there were trailers by our sides, left and right, in a very, very narrow road. I remember I already had discomforts in the bus, right? And then one of the women in the car was already shouting, pleading the blood of Jesus to save us. But, yes, we didn't have any casualty. I mean, I'm here, thankfully. My parents are safe, but that made me realize that what could have actually occurred, because a number of vehicles, including small vehicles, were trying to just maneuver their way to get over there. And this is what happens on a regular. People commute on a regular across different roads in Lagos, even, outside of Lagos. And so we're asking, what is really causing this? So I did some finding, did some, research, just even to hear what other commentators have to say, people that are in this field professionally. And you hear a number of reasons, starting with drivers' recklessness. I do not know how they interview these people that become drivers. A lot of drivers' recklessness. I also saw drivers' fatigue. Many of these people are overworked. You are not supposed to even be on the wheel at some point, but because probably you want to meet up with a particular shift or something, and then you take up more responsibility. Because I think driving heavy-duty trucks, trailers, it should demand a lot of energy, especially because you are driving long distances. So a number of factors really contribute to this. And if we have seen that these factors contribute to this, it's human factor. Human factors are things that we can curtail. There are some that you cannot, I mean, tragedy is something that happens across different races, right? So you cannot always control everything. But there are some human factors, I think, that we can even try to control. We are not God. We cannot determine how many accidents happen. But there are some things that if we look inwardly and look at how we regulate certain things, we would not have this number of lives being lost, this number of accidents day in, day out. There was a time I had PTSD from traveling, and that's because I had a major accident going to a road. I think it wasn't even in Lagos here. This, what's it called? This Ibadan Expressway Road. Our driver was drunk. We didn't know at first, but you know, when somebody is acting very irrational, it was later we now realized that he was drunk, and we did hit, you know, a diesel truck in front of us.
Wow.
It was terrible. Some people in the bus had accidents. And after that moment, I had PTSD. Every time I'm traveling, even small corporate from here to here, once I feel any gallop, I'm already like, gosh, what's going to happen? So a number of things happen on the road, human factors, things beyond our control. But this discussion should help us realize how we can even ensure that the ones that are within our control, let's start working to ensure we do not have many of these tragic cases.
I thank God for God's safety upon your
I
life.
praise His name.
That's true. Even myself too, you know. Recently, I moved to Moe, so anytime I'm coming down that road, it's like I'm always, you know, speaking in tongues, praying that nothing should happen. Yeah, because I've never wanted to experience any form of accident before, and I don't want to because I didn't even like going to the hospitals in the first place. So, Chana, what do you have to say in a short while?
Okay, this is a very sad, you know, the analysis made me really, really sad. However, you know, one thing is that, you know, aside the Dangote trucks and all of that, that we are still going to talk about, the figure is alarming. That's
2,664. So.
And I am pretty sure it's quite more than that, you know. It will be more than that. And I remember, it's actually a funny story, but it's still, you know, reminded me of the fact that when my mom was learning how to drive a car, one thing she always does, whenever she sees a truck coming, she actually stops the car. And then she turns it off and then waits for the car to move. Okay, personally, you know, talking about my own experience traveling, and one thing that I would always want to say about these truck drivers, while I was much younger, there is this thing that I always think about the fact that why can't there be a separate lane for these people? I've been thinking about this since I was a child. Why can't there be a separate lane for these people? Because even when everybody is on this lane, there is something that you will hear that, you know, they want to prove that they have a bigger, you know, in size and all of that. So I think that there is so much, you know, we talk about the fatigue, and then we also talk about the fact that I don't know why people are not calm. That's like one of the most accidents are things that could have not happened if people are just calm. Because why are you trying to maneuver your way? Why are you trying to get into this place? And, you know, all those things. So I really think that if we can control all these things, and this boils down to not just the big trucks, even the small truck, just like what you were saying about the drunk person. So I think that these are the things that we need to focus on, that we are still going to talk more about.
All right, thank you so much, Triumph, for that input. So let's speak with our guest, Oluwadara. Oluwadara, do we have you here this morning?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Sure, you had a very blessed morning waking up this moment. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Are you?
I can hear you properly.
I'm fine.
Oh,
Good.
okay, that's good. So, to join us in this conversation, we are talking about this Dangote truck casualties, and you know, this incessant killings of Dangote trucks specifically. Though we have, you know, other heavy duty trucks who also are accomplices in this. What can you say concerning? Because recently we had an issue in Edo State, precisely in Auchi. We had a young girl who recently graduated, and she, you know, happened to meet an unfortunate accident which led to one of her legs being lost. And the question is, do you think this Dangote brand itself, because people have been saying, oh, Dangote, Dangote, like if your papa no be Dangote, meaning it has been making it has actually made a name in the country and even in Africa generally. So do you think the Dangote brand itself has become too powerful for regulation, or is it that just a perception of people?
Okay, I will say, you see, in any nation that is being guided by the constitution, no individual is bigger than the state. And then in the Nigerian state, section 2, chapter 2, section 2 of the Nigerian 1999 constitution stated that the primary duty of the government is the security and welfare of the people. So Dangote brand shouldn't be bigger than the Nigerian state. I get my point?
Yes.
Dangote brand should be bigger than the Nigerian state. If the Nigerian government needs to do proper regulation, the Nigerian government needs to wade in into this incessant accident, into these drastic issues. So that's what I have for now.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Oluwadara. You've really mentioned what everybody here agrees with. Nobody will say that anybody is above the Constitution, but it's as if what we see doesn't tally with what the Constitution actually states. And I want to even talk about reaction to tragedies, because it seems as though the government reaction to this, things or these particular tragedies is after it has happened. So I want to ask what specific gaps you see in regulation or enforcement that makes this accident even frequent, because we are talking about the way forward right now, and we see that reactions are after the tragedies have happened. But what gap do you see needs to be fixed?
Okay, from my own perspective, the gap that ought to be fixed is that truly there's proper regulation from the government through the FRSC, that is Federal Road Safety Corps, and there is something we call the RTSS, that is Road Transport Safety Standardization Scheme. So the issue on ground is that the companies involved needs to adhere strictly to the dictates of the law. They need to adhere to the tenet of the law, whereby what is the rule guiding truck duty movement on the highways. So the issue on ground is that the Dangote company in particular needs to create some steps in which the drivers, they will checkmate the drivers in terms of fatigue. Is this the rightful time this driver ought to move on the highway? Truly, the Nigerian government, based on research, when I heard the news of the Dangote truck, I made some research. The Nigerian government, there's a law guiding heavy duty truck through the FRSC, that is Federal Road Safety Corps. But the issue on ground is that the companies involved needs to follow the stipulated rules and regulation. The issue on ground is that we will say the capital truth. It's as if the companies in Dangote particular, they are not adhering to the rules of the government, to the tenets, to the law stipulated. That is the issue on ground, and they need to checkmate their drivers. The issue on ground we are hearing is that some of them are not educated, some of them might be involved in drugs, while driving, stuff like that. So they need to adhere to the rules by training their staffs, especially the truck drivers, and putting the rightful driver at the rightful time, and for them to move at the rightful time. And also on the other side of the government, there also to be the particular highway for heavy duty truck. That okay, this particular highway is meant for heavy duty truck. So that's all I have for now.
All right, thank you so much. I mean, you've mentioned the part of the federal government. You've mentioned the part of Dangote itself. But what do you think, or do you think, some of this problem, as much as we say it lies with these people, how about, the people plying this road, the people plying the roads, I mean, the privates, the drivers, these small bus drivers, because sometimes I have witnessed a situation where, situations where it is not even the truck drivers that are at fault, but the people, the small buses, the cars, they are the one, you know, trying to maneuver their way at the wrong time. So do you think more of the problem lies with, who do you think more of the problem lies with? The federal government or the truck drivers, or the masses that apply these routes? Talk about drivers, talk about people that apply this route every time.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. It's a very sensitive question. Now, it's a two-way side. The major issue now is centered on the truck drivers at times, and also on the driver, that is the citizens, plying the routes. So we need to balance the equation, whereby the truck drivers needs proper orientation, and also the citizens, the private individuals plying the route. We also need proper orientation by adhering strictly to the rules that guides road safety.
All right.
Are you with me?
Yes.
So it's a two-way issue. And also the government, the law is on the ground through the Federal Road Safety Corps. The government has established the law through the RTSS, that the Road Transport Standard Safety Standardization Scheme, whereby ensuring the compliance of movement of trucks, of vehicles on the highway. The law is there.
Thank you, Oluwadara, for that contribution. I think Chayam also had made a really good point there, that because at times it might really not be the fault of the the heavy-duty truck drivers, but at the same time too, I've also witnessed where most especially that Ibadan road, that road, you see some drivers, they intentionally do obstruct all those small buses because they don't want them to have their way in. And I also noticed something quite special about them is once you have more of them on the road, I feel they try to intimidate, intimidate those smaller buses or other people that are also plying that route. But let's move on. There was actually a recent accident, in one of the several cases of the reports we've had in the Ekpe that was reportedly due to brake failure. And most of these heavy-duty truck drivers, they always use that as a scapegoat. Even the one that happened in Edo State in Auchi, he says that, his brake failed. So they're always using that phrase, brake failure, as an escape route to remove themselves from whatever the accident that happened. So this suggests that a failure in vehicle maintenance, most especially from the side of Dangote himself and even other owners of the heavy-duty truck. So how can the government, create a system where companies are held legally and financially responsible for the mechanical state of their vehicles?
Thank you very much for that question. The ways the government can make for proper checking of misappropriation of accidents, that there should be a regularization scheme whereby there will be the government, we can use the government, Nigerian government can still make use of the FRC, whereby they will be checkmating the heavy-duty truck used by this big complex, for example, Dangote, whereby the government will need to checkmate, assess, administer, check the nitty-gritty, every nook and cranny of the truck before moving on the express. Or better still, this, we are dealing with life. We are dealing with a matter of life and death. Maybe there should be an agency that way before, that's my own suggestion, my perspective, maybe before this truck move to the express, there should be a nearby agency whereby they will assess these trucks for proper execution.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's a matter of life that is being wasted. There should be a proper map out plan. The government can also make use of the Federal Road Safety Corps, whereby they will assess the heavy-duty truck, they will assess the engine, the brake, everything like that, for it to be able to move freely on the express for proper safety.
All right.
All right. You mentioned the solution that they should put in place, the federal government, for these people. However, I'm also thinking about a solution where we actually have a separate route for them, the heavy-duty trucks. As much as this will also, in my own opinion, I think this will also cause more accident, or maybe when they see that they are the only ones plying the routes, maybe they will be calm for one another. But I am thinking that why can't we have, because I've been thinking about this since I was a child, so I don't know if you're also thinking of, why can't we have a separate route, especially for some key areas? When we talk about the expressway, when we talk about certain expressway for traveling, this is like a long distance traveling now. This is something that we can create a separate route. Sometimes whenever we are traveling, we have situations where you hear something like old road, new road. Can't we have, you know, the trucks, these heavy-duty trucks, plying through maybe the old road, or they create another road for them? Is this something that is possible?
You see, it should be possible, but there will be needs for a lot of statistics, a lot of exigencies, and a lot of because if we are to do that, if the Nigerian government needs to do that, definitely some buildings might need to be demolished, because the present road we have now there's no separate name majorly for heavy duty. That means there will need to be an extension, and that might even cost a lot, in which some houses close to the express will be demolished, and then this will even need to affect every road in Nigeria. So it's a long way. So to me, the best thing is for moderation, whereby there should be like medical checkup for those drivers, because you can't give what you don't have. You can't expect a drug addict to be driving an heavy duty truck and won't express such a colossal loss. It's so pathetic. So the issue of creating a road is good, is a welcome development, but it will go to a long extent. That means, imagine Lagos Abeokuta Express road, Lagos Ibadan Expressway. There will need to be a route, and also, I'm not saying that Lagos Calabar Express way, Lagos Calabar Highway, all those highway like that, Federal Road. That means there will need to be another plight, whereby houses that are close to the road will need to be demolished for an extension of the road. So it goes a long way. So to me, I think the best thing, there should be moderation. There should be moderation, whereby there should be proper medical checkup. A drug addict, someone that has maybe drink is so pathetic. That is what I have to say. That's what I have to say. So for now.
All right. So I think we'll have to put a pause on that for now. We'll go on a quick short break, and when we return, we'll continue with the story and conversation. Just stay tuned. Welcome back to the show this morning. Of course, the topic in question is still Dangote, trucks casualties, urgent need for government intervention and regulation. And the question is, we've been talking, since that, okay, creating better options for the government to either create a very different pathway for the heavy truck driver. Just like, for instance, we have in Lagos, we have a special route for the BRT buses. So we're also suggesting to the government, right, if this could actually happen in, majorly our expressway, to have just a very different pathway for them and create safety for the citizens of the, of the country, of the nation. And as well, we should also look at the fact that, is it that there is just one man in the country that is above the law, that the government can hold responsible, to have or to held tie with whatever things they've caused into society. Yes. And yes, I'm still having my beautiful host with me, Triumph and Oluchi, who are still much in the building.
Yes, I have a question for our guests. And firstly, concerning the other road that needs to be built, that is going to be a very, very long shot, I think. But somebody once suggested the timing of the plying of the routes. Yeah. It's been noted that, those heavy truck drivers should be on the road at night when people are not commuting. At least majority of people are not commuting at that time. So we should have more fatalities, right, reduced. My question now is on deterrent measures. Because looking at the statistics, Dangote trucks had about 64 out of 200 plus, or I can't remember the exact figure. And we hear stories that when this accident happens, they give compensations to the families. So it's almost like, oh, if this accident happens, it's inevitable,
Yes,
we'll pay money and we'll move on. So my question now is, how do you think these deterrent measures should look like? Should it just be that compensation covers everything? Or we should start seeing real-time sanctioning, where some of these people are really relieved of their position for a very long time? Because I think that if you make the deterrent measures quite intense, these people will sit up and even sanitize their own house properly to ensure that we do not have to go through that extra route. But I don't see how effective the deterrent measure currently is, not just for Dangote now, but for other companies that have heavy truck drivers and heavy truck plying the route. Because I feel like compensation is the easiest way to get out of the mess and get out of the stories on the headlines. What do you suggest?
Thank you very much for that question. But before I go straight to the answer, I would like every one of us to know that they put the whole amount of money in the whole commercial bank, that is the central bank of the world, that is the World Bank, that is Central Bank of Nigeria, Central Bank of Ghana, put the whole amount of money they have in the bank, that what? It doesn't equal to the amount of a life. This is life. So the issue of whereby there will be an accident and then they will be compensating is uncalled for. Because it's like they've already have it in their mind that, okay, if this happens, this is the amount we will compensate for this life, then we'll go on and it will happen again. No, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. There needs to be, like I always I'll be saying, there should be moderation, whereby the issue of at night duty, whereby the truck will need to move in the night, yes, it's also applicable, it's also obtainable, whereby there will be specific time, whereby there will not be normal vehicle like vehicles, cars on the highway, whereby this will only be the heavy duty truck that will ply the route. That is it. Because it's so dangerous. It's very dangerous. And I've experienced it practically, I pragmatically asserting, is that the rate at which this heavy duty truck operates on the express is as if they are bullying the vehicle, that the car or bus moving beside them. It's as if they are bullying the vehicle. Especially if they are coming behind, then the way they will on, it's uncalled for. Then they will on the vehicle. So it's uncalled for. So to me, I will say the best thing is that there should be a specific time of flying, because okay, what are they exporting? What are they moving? Is it not cement? Majorly cement. That's what they are. That is the goods they are shipping. They are moving on the highway. So someone that want to use cement today, I'm very sure at least in the last 24 hours, the person, the contractor or whatever that want to make use of cement this morning ought to have known that he or she will want to use cement for a construction. So definitely in the last 24 hours, maybe during the night, there also be within Nigeria now, at least their farthest distance from the far to far, it should be, let's say, within 12 hours, or let's say within 24 hours. Whereby, okay, maybe they will move in the night from one route to a major route. In the night, they are right there during the day, and then during the night they start the journey again. So the best thing is for the vehicle to apply the route in the night, and also there should be proper security for the heavy duty vehicle for their lives. And also, it should not be the fault of normal passenger or normal vehicle owner to be moving at that route by that time. I get my point. So
Okay.
everybody will know that, okay, right now the government.
All right. Before we continue, we
Make
have
the law, okay, maybe like night. What? Hello?
yes.
Like from like 12 midnight
Yes.
to
We've
like
heard
around
you. You can just give us a
Yes,
few minutes. We have a comment in our comment section from Okweagbe Okpeyemi. It says, "A good morning, Ways breakfast. Dangote heavy truck sincerely has become PTSD for we road users in Nigeria. Beyond the casualties, one thing I notice is the fact that there is little to no publicity on prosecution of Dangote drivers. I strongly feel we should hold the company accountable as well as their drivers, and the media should follow up on prosecution of such drivers." Thank you so much for your input, Okoyemi Okoyagbe. And I think that last comment is also quite important, right? That at the same time, there need to be a stricter, prosecution on, especially these Dangote drivers. For instance, even in that, still making emphasis on the Hauchi, when they got to had the driver in question, it was below 20 years, driving a heavy truck duty. Below 20 years, doesn't have a driver's license. So I'm like, what is actually the duty of this FRSC, right? If they are saying they're always on the road, because I see them always stopping all these private owned cars and everything, asking them for their driver's license and every other document. So why are they not strictly enforcing these on these heavy duty trucks? Is it that they're exemptions or they are untouchable, as the people will say it? Are they untouchable that we can also demand this? How can somebody that is less than 20 years driving, doesn't even have a driver's license, so how do you expect the person to be careful when driving on the major express? So back to my question, right, concerning this issue on ground. Now, we've talked about several things that happened, and we have a lot of statistics that the Dangote basically has caused. Let me read some of them out. For some time now, we've had even just within this year, we had a lot of casualties from Dangote driver. The first one started reading from the first one, we have in August 17, 2025, Auchedu, 3 people died in a multi-vehicle crash near Omega Fire Ministry. Police confirmed fatalities and that a Dangote truck was among the vehicles involved. We have another incident again by Ruth Otabo, the one we just discussed earlier concerning the student at Hauchi Polytechnic, and now she has even lost her leg. Funniest thing is they're saying they're going to give her compensation. Compensation based on the company's policy. I don't get. Somebody that has lost a leg, can compensation get back her leg back?
Can it, of a lot
that's
of
just it, even for our family.
Lost.
Can it give her back that? So compensation should not be all the time the solution to whatever accident you've caused in the country. We're talking about life. This is a young graduate that has hope, that has ambition, that, when I finish, I'm going to get a white-collar job, and yes, she is amputated. Moreover, she's still even lying down in the hospital. Nothing so much is being done to her cases. And not just that, we had several issues. We have the one in Abuja, Nyanya Bridge crash. That was in March 19, 2025, where a Dangote-branded cement trailer lost control and collided with multiple stationary vehicles trapped in traffic. Sparking, and this sparked a massive fire that engulfed 14 vehicles, and at least 6 lives were lost. So how many lives will be lost till the government, intercede in this? And that's why the people still keep on questioning. Is it that Dangote is somebody that is untouchable, that is above the law? And we say that the law the law is above everyone. No one is above the law in the country. So why is it that we have a situation? Now, currently, we've had several of these series of cases, even the one in Edo State currently. I've not seen any government, intervention in that. I've not seen, even from the president, what's he saying about it? Yes, we know that Dangote is really helping part of the people helping the economic in the country, in terms of this fuel subsidy and everything that he has been doing. But at the same time, we shouldn't overlook that this same person is also causing harm to the society. So where is the safety of the citizens?
You know what I'm going to say? This is just a comment, and back to the question I asked before. Thank you for linking all of this. I think it goes beyond a Dangote agency or group in this sense, because if you even check the statistics, maybe he takes like 30% or 40. I mean, forgive my math at this point, but it's beyond the Dangote group. It's general what is happening there. And I think they have an easy pass. The easy pass all of these companies have is compensation. Telling me that compensation is your company's policy already shows that you expect accident to happen, and when it does, we have money that we have set aside to help you recover. So if this is what happens, it means that deterrent measures, like I mentioned before while asking our guests, needs to be tightened. If people know that if they cause this amount of accidents in a year, they will be suspended of all activity, trust me, there will be tighter regulations.
Of course.
You won't have untrained people as your drivers. You wouldn't, because you want to avoid, everybody is looking out for their businesses. Some of these drivers, they don't just export cement. Some of them are bringing foodstuff from the north to this place. So it's businesses that are running. If your operation will be stopped because you are causing accidents, they would sit up. So I think at this point, that regulation and monitoring you're talking about should be more intense, because what I see is PR and crisis management everywhere. And it's not just for this agency, but even across board. I know marketing and PR helps us to manage crisis and all, but this one that has to do with lives, we need to really sit up. We need to ensure that deterrent measures are tougher, like really tough, regardless of who is in charge, regardless of the person that owns this brand. So I'm not trying to focus, pardon me, on just Dangote.
Company,
I'm talking across board. If you have this number of accidents in a year, you will be suspended of all operations. Trust me, you will see these agencies sit up and lives will be saved.
Jeremy, you have something to say.
Yeah. Yes, I just wanted to add to, some of these measures that we can put in place. And I think the federal government should take it personally, as a government thing, that they themselves are the ones to prosecute these people. Whenever these things happen, it shouldn't just be, the citizen, the victim, the families of the victims involved. They are not just the ones to cry out. I was saying that what if the lady did not have Fina as a sister? We might have forgotten about it, just like the other accident that we don't know about. So the government should make it a personal thing to prosecute these people once they're applying the government road, because they did not build the road. So they should take this persecution very seriously and personally.
That will also lead me to a question, because if the government are really not enforcing stricter rules on them, is it that some of those heavy truck, duties, those heavy truck, is it that they're also working for some of the government officials? Because if they're not talking, I'm so certain that leaving aside Dangote, some of these heavy duty trucks also work for the government officials. And I think that's why they're not really putting stricter rules and regulation concerning it. So how can you have, a driver that is, I'm not even talking about the age perspective, but right now he's not even well learned on how to drive. He doesn't even have a driver's license. And you gave him the job to do that. Like, that means you don't care about the lives of the people, right? And please, concerning the FRSC, I think I will also need to put more work into this, enforcing stricter rules on these heavy truck drivers. And also for the drivers, if you feel that you are tired, why can't you not get a rest? Must you keep on driving while you're sleeping? Because I've seen some drivers, they are sleeping and they are still on the steering, driving on the road. You're not driving chickens or you're not driving animals. This is human lives. And human lives can't be bought with compensation, nor with money. So before we quickly wrap up this point, I want to hear from just a few seconds from our guest. What do you have to say in all this?
Thank you very much for that commentary. Now, to me, from my perspective, is that there should be strict measures. There should be regulations from the government, from the federal government, on how heavy-duty trucks will apply the routes, and also in the aspect of the companies need to adhere to the rules and regulation, and also there needs to be a checkmate by the government, proper scrutiny of these drivers, their qualification, experience, and also, like I mentioned the other time, that in terms of them applying the routes in the night, maybe during the day they should have proper rest, proper hygiene, proper everything. They should have proper meal. Then they'll be able to work effectively in the night.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oluwadara, for joining us on this beautiful conversation. One last word from Oluchi.
Stay safe, guys. See you all tomorrow.
Of course, and this is how we draw the wrap. Let's get some final thoughts. That it could be advised that the government today on one urgent intervention and regulation. What could it be? Thank you so much for joining us on today's program. Stay tuned and remain blessed.